Hey, it's Ryan. Thanks again for forwarding the package. I really appreciate it. I had a great time working on your stuff, and you're a phenomenal guitar player, so it's very fun to actually transcribe some really good and really difficult music, so I appreciate the order. As promised, I wanted to send you this video to go over a few things. I took a few notes when I was doing this, and I think it's worth mentioning. So, the very first thing, I'm looking at the tabs right now and some notes I wrote. In lick 1, there's an issue with bar number 2, and that is that there's a part that you're bending a note at 15 on the B string, and let's see. Yeah. So you're bending at the 15 and you're hammering on to technically the 16th fret, but it's hammered on while the bend is taking place. So you're going. And in Guitar Pro, you can't translate this. So what I wrote is a bend at 15 and then a fretting the 18, which technically is the same note, but because of the bend, you only played at 16. So the tablature isn't accurate there. When you play it back, it sounds right, but if you try to play the exact notes that are written, it won't sound good. So I don't know what you want to do there. I can either change it so that it'll be bend and then hammered to 16, or we can leave it as is and it will play back. So that's up to you, but let me know if you want to change it or if you want me to change it. So that was the first one, and this is an issue that will come up again in another lick. The next thing I had written down was lick number 3. Lick number 3, at the very end, you've got this neat little something like that, and the way that you play is really interesting. I probably spent the most time on this one lick than I did on anything else in the whole package, and I just couldn't quite figure out how you were creating this sound at the 12th and 13th. There's like a really strange sound there, but it sounds awesome. So the way I wrote it is, I think not the same way you're playing it, but it will work, I think, for anyone who wants to play this. I think it's going to come out just fine. Maybe you want to add in some notes or some subtleties that you're doing to the package for your listeners, for your fans. But again, if there's a change that needs to be made, let me know. I can always do that. So that was the second part. That's lick 3, bar 8, by the way. The next one, this is in lick 5 in bar 6. This is not really an issue. This is just something that I was curious about, and it's a quick fix as well. Bar 6 in lick 5, you're doing this bend sequence on the 20th fret. Now, when you play it in the fast version and in the slow version, it sounds like the second bend is a harmonic, like you're something like that. And I wasn't sure if you were doing a harmonic note on purpose, or if just through your natural picking tendencies, that's what resonated. So if it is intentional, we can always just press one letter, and it turns into harmonic. Otherwise, you can leave it as is. It doesn't affect the riff at all, but just something I was curious about. So next, lick number 9. Lick 9, there's something similar to the first lick, where there's a bend taking place, and then hammer-ons, or in this case tapping, that happens on the bended string, and that results in a note that doesn't translate into Guitar Pro. So, for example, I'm looking at bar 4. You have this bend on the 10th fret of the B string, and then you're tapping on 11 and 13. And again, in Guitar Pro, I've tabbed it as a bend at 10, and then a tap at 13, 15, 13. And that would sound like, which sounds somewhat similar, but the way you're playing is you're actually tapping it on the 11th and the 13th, as opposed to the 13th and 15th. So there's a miscommunication between the riff and the software. So another easy fix. And again, where is it? You go on to play the exact same thing in 7. Like bending at the 15, tapping the 16, and then releasing the bend, and it's written as bend at 15, hammer at 18. So another issue. The last thing was lick 10. This is not an issue. This is just something that it was late at night. I had a busy weekend, and I was doing this very late, and I was drinking a lot, and I was doing fine, and I think I got it all somewhat right. But just towards the end of lick 10, kind of starting from this bit, and that really neat sequence. It just seems like most of this lick has a swing type feel to it. It's not so mechanical, and I wasn't sure how to capture that. And I don't know if it's, again, if it's your intention, if it was just the way that it came out. But the Guitar Pro is very mechanical, and it likes to represent things as very cut and dry. So I think it came out nice, but if there's sort of a swing type feel, again, I don't know if you want to, if you're putting together like, you know, the package licks and then notes to go along with it. Any sort of guitar lick packages that I've ever bought have come with some sort of notes that pertain to each lick, like the artist's thoughts, or, you know, just any sort of additions that need to be said. I think it might be a good idea to include something like that, just to avoid some confusion. And as a customer, you know, I've bought lick packages before. It's always nice to see something like that. It feels more personal in a way, and more interactive, and it certainly helps. So maybe that's a good idea. But for the most part, I think that's it. I think most of it is right. The tempo's set at 90 at all of them, except I'm just now noticing lick 10. That's set at 120, so I can change that. And then what I'll also do is I'll send these over to you in a PDF format for those of your buyers who don't have Guitar Pro. They're going to want to learn it anyway. I'll export all these files as PDFs, and I'll send those over as well. So that's about it. So thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the order again, and I look forward to working with you again in the future. Thanks.